So we rented this villa for 2 weeks on the island of Crete, and it's got quite a few sort of outdoor cooking features. So here we've got I think that's a still actually, so after you've made your wine, you'd put it in there, light a fire underneath, in there, have a water supply going through this, so your alcohol would evaporate here at sort of lowish temperature and then be condensed, then come out there, and that would be your sort of high content alcohol drink that they drink here. And then we got a barbecue which the owners have set up for us, all here, bit of coal in there, and then a small pizza oven. So that's just a little bit smaller than mine at home. A nice door on it, and then looks like somewhere for doing a hog roast if you wanted to. Oh, a bit of wood there. Have that in a second. Kind of trying to be a sink. Needs finishing really. There you go. And you've got another sort of water supply here, which is good. And then grapes. Not ready yet, but looking nice anyway. And then to the rear of the property, we've got the pool, play area for kids, young kids, and then another pizza oven. So let's have a look at that. So this one is a lot bigger. I'd say about 1.2, 1.3 meters in diameter. It's been used. The back surface there is clear of soot, which means it's got up to a decent temperature there at least. And it's all refractory, pretty much refractory block, I think. Not like mine. So mine is the heat holding Feolite blocks from a night storage heater. So this should be a different experience. And then wood. There was no wood, so I've just been up in the hill behind, which you can just see the tree there, just to collect that. And it's always a good idea when you're doing this in this rough terrain to wear some sensible shoes like I have. And these were under a tree, so a tree had been sort of managed and the offcuts have been left underneath. And a lot of this area around here is fenced off. But where I found this wood, it wasn't, so I'm assuming it's sort of fair game, and we can use it. So yeah, hopefully it's dry enough. The ground's pretty dry and the wood's pretty dry, so sure it'll be okay. I might remove some bark though, just to prevent the smoking. So we've got some of these big flies flying around, if you can see that. There he is. And one was just scuffing around in this plant pot here. You can see the dirt there that's come out, so I'm not sure if there might be a nest nearby, so I might have to be a bit careful. Maybe they're even nesting in there, which would be a shame to smoke them out. So I'll have a look. So that's half a kilo of flour mixed up, already rising, and that usually makes pizzas sort of 12 inches diameter back home. Now, because I haven't got all the tools I've got back home, I might have to subdivide these or mix them up again and make smaller ones, because might be too hard to handle. I've only got that and a wooden thing there to sort of throw them in with, and a metal peel to take them out. That's a lot smaller, so need to be a bit careful with sizing here. So I'm just walking up from the villa to get some wood. There's the villa. Nice surroundings. Got some high mountains here. I'm just heading sort of over there to go into the trees to get the wood. But I've got to go around this corner up here. Now you might not realising it, but it looks like, just judging by the irrigation pipes you see on all the roads, every bit of land here is managed and used to farm olives, I guess, and other things. That's the 2 logs I left there yesterday, just to help me to pick up the rest of the bunch. And then I'll go back down the track and see what we've got. It's about 34 degrees now, 2 p.m. I'm just heading down there, about 50, 60 metres where the tree was. Looks like the farmer's been around. There's a lot of dirt on the road. Yeah, so Maybe I'll bump into him. Because I don't have any way of chopping logs, I've got to get a selection of sizes so I can use kindling natural sizes. Got some better shoes on today at least. And that's the back of the villa there. You can just see the back wall of the villa. It's not too far. And this is the tree where I found the logs the other day. Here we go. So I can gather a few of these up. Should be okay to use. Leave them in the sun for a bit to dry out again. Well, I've got no idea what wood this is. I mean, I think it's under an olive tree, but I can't see any olives on there. Maybe it's too late, I don't know. But I'm just removing some of this bark because no idea what it's going to burn like. But at least if I remove the bark, it will reduce the smoke and get rid of some of the bugs that are hiding as well. Because I don't really want to bring those into the house. I mean, it's not a wooden house; it's concrete everywhere, but just want to be careful a bit. Right, so that's 2 little piles there and some kindling. I'll go back and get the car just because it's heavy and hot. Take it back to the house, that'll be fine. There we go, that should do us. So I've got no idea how this is going to go, how much heat I'll need to put in there. Now I've got this wood here, those 2 bits and a few bits over there in the sun. And usually I get through about half as much as that at home, well under half as much. But I don't know if this is, obviously it's bigger so it's going to use more heat. But if that heat's more reflected than absorbed, as it is in mine, then I should be okay. But in any case, I think I'm just going to blast it and then put the pizzas in as it's dying down and all the smoke's driven off. Chimney, is that clear? That looks clear, so it should be okay. One thing I need to check is for combustible materials near the chimney up there, and sure enough I've got this bamboo screening there. So what I'll do, I'll try and get up somehow just to eyeball that roof and make sure there's nothing combustible near the chimney or too close. At least I've got a fire extinguisher at the ready, so that's not too bad. There's a hose pipe as well somewhere I can use if I get the need, but pretty sure I won't need that. Yep, sure enough, it's pretty well vented, so just got this tree here, but apart from that, good spacing around there, so we should be good. Okay, so the dough has completely risen, more than I thought it would. So what I've done, I've found some of these big plates. Obviously that's a pizza plate, and I might be able to use that to slide the pizzas in. I've got those 3. 2 of those, so I'll look how it rolls out that dough. I don't even know I've got a roller actually. I might have to do it all by hand, and then maybe I'll do 5 small ones or 4. Let's see. Okay, so we've got tomato, olive, and onion, and there's a bunch of flour under there, but still it's starting to stick, so that might be a bit of a battle. Here we got salami, black olives and cheese, and then chicken, ham, bit of cheese and some spice that I found in the cupboard there as well. So, right, time to go and light the fire, I think. So I've just come out to arrange that, and I've noticed one of those big flies just carrying a dead cricket into that hole right there. So I think there is a nest in there. I'll keep an eye on that. Goes another one. Look at that. Oh, he's struggling to get it in the hole. We'll try again. Comes. There he goes. Dragging that cricket in there, so there must be something in there. Oh, there's another one. Look at that. Great big cricket going in there. So I think just to be on the safe side, I'll reclassify these as wasps because they do look quite big. And a lot of people, especially some people in my family, wouldn't be getting so close as this. What I don't want is to light a fire, then for them all to start swarming because of the smoke. Okay, so I built that up. I put some little firelighters in there which were supplied for the barbecue. These guys have been dive bombing me a few times, and it's been a little bit scary, so I hope they don't freak out when I'm like this. Let's give this a go. Oh, that's nice and quick. Brilliant. Oh, look at that. See what happens. I'm going to get hundreds of those streaming out of there now because they're all panicking. Probably could have done that with one match. It's all so dry. It's this is sort of 3 minutes in and it's going crazy. The wasps seem to be happy enough still, so I'll crack on. Right, so that's going okay. The wasps haven't freaked out or started swarming, but this is all too close to the front, so I'm going to move it over to the side now. So it's been going for a while. Quite heavy. Of course, I've got no gloves or anything to do this with. That will help me, so a little bit old school. Find a quick brush to clean those stones off. That's cooking so well. Doing okay. Right. Okay, so the door's on now. That's doing that. He's doing that. So I'll give that a few minutes to heat up with the door on, and then see how hot it is. Well, that's been burning really only for about 35-40 minutes. It's probably not long enough. And yeah, there's a lot of soot in there, so it's not very hot. Of course, I haven't got my infrared with me, so can't measure it. This was sizzling, this surface. Over 120, I'd say, 150 even. So it's going to be a slow cook for these guys, I reckon. Okay, so that crept up on me a little bit burnt there, but wasn't as cold as I thought it was in there. So that's not too bad for a first one in the new oven. So that one's doing okay. I couldn't get it very far in the oven because again I'm just reaching with my arm in the plate to drop it, so it's a bit of a shame, but I might move it back in a minute once the base stiffens up. Number 2's doing alright now. Still plenty of life in the fire. In fact, I've just noticed the flames are going all over to the right side and burning, cooking the other side, so I need to perhaps move it to the middle a bit more. Yeah, maybe the fire's too big. He's got his dinner there, the hive. Going to take it into there in a second. There he goes. And then my dinner's in there. Last one. So all in all then, not too bad a result. And bear in mind this is just standard flour as far as I could make out. So it rose a bit more in the oven and cooked quite well all through. So yeah, it's alright. Not a bad job.